Hollywood is terrified, and it should be. Celebrities are no longer talking about a future day in which they are out of work. It has arrived. The box office numbers are in for this October 2025, and it's not just the worst October since 1990-something, as the news is reporting. No, it's the worst October in the history of movies. Period. Not only do we have the numbers, we'll tell you the reason why. And they don't want you to realize how they destroyed Tinseltown.
They right there, or she might be right here, and he's up there. I'm hiring the woman.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Turn that frown upside down. It's the Pro Channel. Yet again, another video of excellence on the way. We're going to call out the Holly Weirds, and with a gusto, I guess you could say, a gusto that drives the nutsos wild. As we get ready to dive in, click the like button. And a quick shout out, folks, if you've been paying attention to Scott Adams, who we love. Scott's a great guy, great commentator, deeply thoughtful. Scott's going through a hard time out there, the author of the Dilbert comic series, and he's been reaching out to the Trump administration for some help. If you are someone who's watching right now, who's connected with the Trump administration, if you could get this up to the man in charge, we certainly would appreciate that, or RFK Jr. Thank you so much for taking the time. Folks, out of deadline from Anthony D'Alessandro, Paramount, calling Regretting You at number one with $8.1 million for the weekend. $8.1 million is the winner. Universal Blumhouse's Black Phone 2 is at $8 million. Now, Anthony D'Alessandro has, this is the Sunday AM update. This is a muting of what should be the real news, and I'm going to scroll down. We don't even care about this. We're going down to what he had to say about how bad this is in terms of October, and you got to scroll down to like 5 or 6 paragraphs in. Every red alert, every buzzing siren that can go off in Hollywood has. They don't want to tell you that. If you've wondered, folks, why are these big companies suddenly buying up these studios? Why is AMC, all of a sudden they want to work with Netflix and Netflix wants to work with them? What's going on? Well, folks, it has a lot to do with the fact that the market is shifting rapidly. Total transformation is here. Celebrities worried that they're out of work, that they are now involved in an industry that nobody cares about, and that means they can't have their diamond-crusted swimming pools. No, really, truly. And this is happening right now, but they don't want to report on it. I do, because I see what's happening, and so do you. Out of the Saturday AM update that Deadline had put out, the lowest October in 27 years is coming to a close with the lowest weekend of the year at around $49 million total. If you've been paying attention to this channel, go back to the last 2 Sundays, and you'll remember that I said, this is insane. We've had a $65 million weekend. And then I came back the next week and said, this is insane. It's back to back. A $67 million, not for a movie, all movies combined. And that climaxed into Halloween with $49 million, failing to break $50 million every single movie. Now they want to say, well, it's Halloween, so, and then World Series and all that. Folks, there are bad movies that make more than $50 million in a single weekend. Every movie combined together failed to top $50 million at the domestic box office. Now, I want to address this thing that it says here. I want to address where it says the lowest October in 27 years. Because it says ComScore reported earlier this week that October was coming in at $440 million, which is the lowest October ever seen since 1998, which did $455.5 million. Okay? So if you add up all of the days of October, all 31 days, it's $440 million. Since 1998, which is $455.5 million. Well, I ran the math, ladies and gentlemen. Our crackpot team of researchers here at Somewhere Sunny USA, they got to work and they got their jumbo pencils moving, unlike the legacy drive-by dinosaur media. And you know what we found out? We found out that the amount of money that was made in 1998 for that October is equivalent to $779 million when adjusted for inflation. Which is to say, this October is nowhere close to that October if you play by the rules you should play by, which is how many tickets were sold? What was the overhead? What's the profit? There is no profit this month. Might not be any profit this year. $779 million adjusted for inflation, folks. Don't believe them when they tell you that this is the worst October since blah, 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 blah. This is the worst October in the history of movies. Really. We cannot find a single October with less ticket sales. We cannot find a single October with less ticket sales than this October. Let me show you what we got here. Out of Box Office Mojo, Tron Ares. We got a list of all the movies that came out in October and what they did in the month of October. Tron Ares has made $65 million. La-di-da, got a $600 million break even. That's going to be a loss, eh? Black Phone 2, $55 million. You know, and for the horror films, I got to say, for the horror films, whatever. The horror films, they have budgets that are infinitesimally small, so good on them. But when you get down here to like Gabby's Dollhouse makes $16 million. It's an animated film. I don't care how cheaply made it is. I don't care how fast they get to streaming. It's still a loser. Springsteen, what a loser. My gosh, $13 million. Okay? Now, if it's a horror film or if it's an anime, those budgets are teeny weeny, itsy bitsy, whatever. Let's compare this, by the way. Let's compare it to the other Octobers. If we go to the worldwide box office for October 2024, how does that compare? You just saw the list. You just saw number one is Tron Ares with $60 million. Last year, Venom at $478, Joker at $207, Smile 2 at $138. You say, well, that's an anomaly. Okay, maybe. Go to 2023. What do we got? Five Nights at Freddy's, $291, Taylor Swift, $261, Trolls Band Together, $209, Killers of the Flower Moon, $158. Go to 2022. Black Adam at $393, Lyle Crocodile at $111. And can I tell you all something? Black Adam was not seen as a success. Black Adam was not a success at all whatsoever. But they'd they would fall down. Hollywood right now would fall down and weep for joy to have a Black Adam right now. Think about that. This is completely and totally unsustainable. We've covered this on That Park Place. We've covered the fact that this is so bad right now that 2025 might not make it to 2024's level of total box office, and 2024 was abysmal. Like, we're never going to survive. We can't make it. We're going to have to sell our mansions, and nobody wants to buy our mansions in Los Angeles because, oh my gosh, we burned down an area the size of Paris and people don't view us well anymore. California is not the place to be. Right? Californication means something very different these days. It means imbecilic governance and industry destruction. And what do we have? We have that for sure. Because if you're dreaming of Black Adam, like if that was the good old days, you're in a bad way in Hollywood, and they're in a bad way. So how did it happen? Folks, I promised to tell you this, remember? I said I would tell you this, and I intend to. We're going to pause this because I'm going to bet they got a copyright on it. What do you bet? I bet they do. They don't want us to play it. I'll read it instead. But I'm going to show you exactly how they managed to destroy Hollywood. And they did. And they're celebrating it. See, that's what you need to understand. As the revolutionaries take over and lead to absolute hell on earth, they always praise themselves. They always pat themselves on the back right before, they're the next up in line to be smacked, if you get what I'm saying. Now, in this case with Hollywood, it's just a little, it's just an industry, and it went elsewhere. So it's not as bad as taking over a whole country. But these people, they wiped out their entire trade. It went away. It's gone to Georgia. It's gone to the UK, which of all places. It's gone to Vancouver. It has left. It has left. California is bereft of any kind of entertainment going on. They've dropped 40% occupancy in their sound stages. You couldn't get a soundstage in California 10 years ago. Today, it's discount, baby. They're Spirit Halloween stores for soundstages in California. How did that happen? How did they make that happen? How are they turning, and within a year or two, it will be this way, I promise. How have they turned the Sunset Strip? How have they turned Burbank into Detroit? This way, and they celebrate it. Out of Variety by J. Kim Murphy. Wanda Sykes loves hiring women over men. And if she's a black woman, you got the job. Let me read this to you, and I'm going to explain why it's so awful. Wanda Sykes accepted honors at Variety's Power of Women Los Angeles event on Wednesday evening, taking the stage for a speech in which she got candid about her preference for hiring women over men as a producer. Quote, "My joy is when I'm able to hire somebody, and you know who I like to hire? Women. I'll be up front with you. When it comes to a position and I look on the paper, she might be right here and he's up there," Sykes said, putting out both hands with man, one slightly elevated above the woman. She says, "I'm hiring the woman. That's just how I operate. And I'll be honest with you, if she's a black woman, girl, you got the job." Sykes then drew applause from the crowd before the stand-up went back into to a laugh line. "When women thrive, the community thrives. We make everyone around us better. When you get women, when we win, everybody wins. When men win, sometimes they get a younger wife." So there's a lot of what she's saying there that's true, and then she ends with a laugh line, which is to denigrate men. Now, when I say that what she's saying is true, I'm not telling you that what she's saying is good. But I'm telling you that Wanda Sykes got up there and said, "Hey, do you want to know what's going on in Hollywood and has been for the past many years? I don't care about merit. I don't care about if you're good. I don't care about how hard and how long you've worked at being an artist. I'm going to hire you based on what's between your legs, maybe, or what you might pretend in that department. And I'm going to hire you based on your skin color, and you can't pretend there." That's what Wanda Sykes is saying. She's saying, if you are truly amazing, that's not what I'm after. I'm after, what was your DNA when you were born? Unless it's in this one particular area, again, between the legs, in which case just, hey, tell me whatever you want. Now that is tribalism. That is tribalism, and it's, again, what do we fight against when we talk about wokeism, ladies and gentlemen? Wokeism is postmodern, which is to say that it doesn't believe any kind of truth, just power. Neo-Marxism. What is Neo-Marxism? Marxism is tribalism, right? It's the oppressed versus the oppressor. And the neo part of that says that, how are you being oppressed? Well, you're being oppressed not based on your money or your socioeconomic status. You're being oppressed based on how you were born. That way, the postmodern neo-Marxists get to say, there is no truth. It's all relative. It's all narrative. It's only about power. And if you're living in a trailer park as a person of European descent, you still are oppressing me as an ultra rich person who is of color, quote unquote, living in the Hollywood Hills. You're oppressing me, trailer person. You see how that plays? What Wanda Sykes is saying is that based on that, she and Hollywood, because they all stood up and applauded, remember? They can't get away from this. It's not that she says this and they went, boo. And they go, boo, Wanda. How dare you? It's an affront to artistry. It's an affront to artistry to say that you prefer and you privileged the, 8%, if you were to look at the population of Tinseltown, of women who are black versus everybody else. They didn't say, boo, Wanda. What about the Latino women, Wanda? They didn't say, Wanda, what about the Asian men? They didn't say any of that. They stood up and they applauded her. Because Wanda has said, I have a standard, and my standard for who I'm going to hire is based completely and utterly, not on their moral character, not on who they are, not on their experiences, not on their artistry, not on their execution abilities when it comes to a major project. I will hire you simply because you look like me. And Hollywood stands up and applauds. Yay, they say. We want more of that. As all their jobs go away. They celebrate this as they suffer the worst October in the history of Octobers forever in movie making. It's like going to your own funeral. It's like going to your own funeral and celebrating having done things that caused your demise. They should be wearing funerary kinds of outfits. They should be They should be in a woe is me. This should be a retrospective moment for how did we get here? They have none of that. Because what these people did is they brought in a methodology of living with one another that is divisive, that is tribalistic, that is not based on loving your neighbor and loving others and being kind and being good. They went back to something that is far, far less savory. And that is to cling to only those who you wish to rise against any kind of logic. I mean, listen, I don't have any issue with women of any ethnicity being in charge and being producers. I love it. I just happen to think that that will happen naturally as you hire people based on their talents, because I don't think that talent is unevenly distributed. I don't think that there's any race or any mode of sexuality that determines what talent level people are going to have. I think it's evenly distributed. Not everybody believes that, by the way, which is part of the neo-Marxist tribalism. So these people, they get up there and they celebrate while their industry is going down. And you could say, well, why? Because Wanda Sykes has all the money. As her town burns down, figuratively and literally, Wanda Sykes has all the money. As Leonardo DiCaprio stars in one battle after another, right? Right? The movie that's pro-anti-FA. You all know about that movie, right? By the way, how did it do? Let's go back real quick. One battle after another. 39 million. Domestically, 66 million. No, I'm sorry. 39 million gross in October. 66, almost 69 million total gross for its entire run. It also needs $600 million to break even. As they do these movies and they celebrate these things, right? Because Wanda Sykes is a different kind of problem as Leonardo DiCaprio's One Battle After Another. Wanda Sykes is celebrating tribalism and hiring people based on how they were born, hiring them based on their DNA, and, by the way, not giving opportunities to others based on their DNA. That's what she's doing, and she's being applauded. And Leonardo DiCaprio is coming out with a movie that celebrates harming more than half the country. And he's supposed to get awards. It's an award contender. Given the kind of budget to help it get those awards, it needs $600 million to break even. It's at $67 million right now in total gross. So, Leonardo DiCaprio has all the money he needs. Wanda Sykes has all the money she needs. And when everything collapses, as it currently is, as old Hollywood crumbles to the ground and the young people cannot be found, they can't find any job, work is gone, the grips, the handlers, everybody who's with the Teamsters, they're all wiped out. They're going to have to move their families and go somewhere else. And California is left in a situation of absolute depression in the entertainment industry, and all that floods out to other places. Leo and Wanda will have their money. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why they're not depressed. That's why they're not freaking out over the worst October in the history of movies and a 2025 that's underperforming an abysmal 2024. That's why they're not worried as companies like Disney go head to head with YouTube in a battle, because this is survival, this is existential. This is why they're not worried when AMC is partnering up with Netflix to try to save them. This is why they're not worried as they watch streaming services be all about Asian content, because the people across America don't like what's being made for them out of the City of Angels. They're not worried because they soaked the system. They got their money. They burned it down. And they got out. Folks, that is the tale of how Hollywood was taken down. More in the next 2 months. All right, folks, that is it for us. We're getting out of here. By the way, if you are not yet following over on X and other social media accounts what is happening in Africa and has been happening in Africa, I think it's worth your attention. I really do. What's been going on with the persecution of Christians over there. It really is worth your attention. Worth your time. There are a lot of people focused on all kinds of stuff that's going on. I saw a video, and part of me wishes that I had not seen the video of the mother with the kids and the very cruel people who made them very afraid before doing something terrible to them. That stayed with me all through the night. And I had difficulty sleeping, and maybe you should have difficulty sleeping after seeing that. Crushed my heart. Folks, let's do our best where we are. You may not be able to fix every situation in every place in the world, but where you are, find something to make it better. And when it comes to places across the globe, let's work on putting our attention on bringing an end to suffering. That would be good. That would be good. Folks, like, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And until the next time, we have the joy, the pleasure, the privilege, and the responsibility of spending time together. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what, keep having fun.
Why can't I go around topless anymore?
Because it's not appropriate.
Kevin Apollo isn't appropriate?
Kevin Apollo's like a Greek god. And besides, he does kind of wear shirts. Sometimes.
I mean, that kind of explains it.
I mean, technically Apollo is a Roman god borrowed from the Greeks, which makes sense, because he's powerful and has great takes.
Look, if you love Athena that much, you can marry him.
Nope, but I do plan to check out Lauren and Apollo on Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Wait, Lauren's there? This is another opportunity to see if we can get him to watch the Highlander movies.